Hi, this is Melissa Ryan with Jenny
Warchesik.
I was practicing that, but I'm still working on it. And we're joining you from the Golden Wellbeing Collective, where I have my office. We're actually in my office right now. And again, I'm going to just introduce myself. Melissa Ryan. I'm the owner of Cambium Counseling, and I work with couples predominantly on relationship issues, that areas where they're just experiencing disconnection, or something's happened that they really want to work through, or they just really want to take their relationship from good to great. And so that's where I do a lot of work. And I also really enjoy collaborating with other wellness professionals in the community. And that leads me to why Jenny is here, because we did a Facebook Live a while back, and that inspired us to do more collaborative work. And so I'll have Jenny introduce herself about what she's about and what she's doing. And
Great, yeah. So I am recently an owner of Golden Yoga Sanctuary, so also located in Golden. I've been teaching yoga for 5 or 6 years now. I love working with beginners, people who are brand new to yoga, because it's a wonderful process to see somebody start out and then really start to learn what's going on and get more and more comfortable and do all of those things. So I love working with beginners.
And that speaks to like our title. So
yes.
One of the questions I just recently asked you is, what is one of the biggest barriers to beginning a yoga practice, or what keeps people from even starting yoga?
Right.
And in our title, we referred to flexibility.
Right.
So will you expand on what that is and what that means?
Absolutely. All the time people will tell me when they find out I'm a yoga instructor, they'll go, "Oh, I can't do yoga. I'm not flexible. I can't even touch my toes." And I look down and they're usually wearing some kind of shoes. And I said, "Well, you must be able to touch your toes because you got your shoes on today." So, and what they're talking about is they can't stand straight up, fold over and reach their toes or reach the ground, which is so not necessary at all. But people think that they have to be able to do that in order to do yoga. That's the beauty of yoga. It might help you get down to where you can touch your toes in that way, but it's not a requirement at all. You can bend your knees and you can touch the ground. And I'll do that. I'll show them. I'm like, yes, you can. Or, here I could just like pick up my foot and go, "Oh, look, I'm touching my toes." There's lots of different ways that you can change a posture. Modify is what we call it. You can modify a posture to fit you and your body wherever it is, whatever's going on. Maybe you have an injury. Maybe you just think you're inflexible. Maybe you just don't know what it is. You can do it. You can do it. And there's ways to make it work for you.
So if I'm hearing you right, Jenny, the yoga as a practice is really about meeting somebody where they're at in terms of where they are physically. Yes. And then also, in yoga classes I've attended, there's a lot of discussion about, what you're bringing mentally and emotionally and what that looks like in the mat. And that there's also some modifications that can be made for that as well.
Definitely. Yes, it works both. It works with the whole being, the whole person. It works with your body, absolutely. And often that's what brings people to yoga sometimes. That's what draws a lot of us, especially a lot of us here in the West, to a yoga practice is, well, I need some kind of exercise. I need more flexibility. I'm going to do yoga.
I'm injured sometimes.
I'm injured, yep. My doctor said it would be good. It would help me. So they come, and often they come for the physical. The beautiful thing is then all of a sudden these other things start creeping in slowly, just slowly. These little things that we say. Yes. We talk about emotions. We talk about thoughts and things that you think and things you believe that may not be serving you, that maybe need to be let go of. So these messages start to come out. You can hear them or not hear them, but you're doing the practice, you're doing the physical things, your body starts changing, your relationship with your body and yourself starts changing, and you do start thinking and feeling differently from doing the practice. Whether that was your intention or not, it's a lovely side effect.
Yeah, lovely benefit. And so that speaks to also just the way it can unfold. It's an invitation, right?
Yes.
It's not being forced by the teacher or the instructor. It's really an opportunity, an invitation to slow down and get in the here and now, which we know has tremendous benefit. There's lots of research on that. And you and I were just joking about recovering from overthinking, and that it's an ongoing process, and that yoga offers this opportunity to those of us that may suffer from overthinking.
Definitely, yes. And they even have a lovely term for it. Yoga uses the language of Sanskrit. That's the natural native language of yoga. And so the Sanskrit word for mental processing, overthinking, is chitta vritti, mind chatter. So everybody's got it. Some of us have it to a ridiculous extreme. Sometimes it's not so bad. But yoga helps settle that down and calm the mind. And when you're trying to figure out a posture, which is an asana, that's the physical shape you make with the body. When you're trying to put yourself in a brand new position that you've never done before, or maybe you have done it before, there's a lot that's going on. You have to figure out, where does your body go? Where do your feet go? Or make sure you're breathing, make sure you're holding things in the right place, engaging the right muscles, softening the right muscles. So much is going on. You're thinking about those things, and all of a sudden, all that extra stuff that's been happening in your mind, all that blah, 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 there's no time, there's no room for it. And you find this quietness in your own head, of breath and holding a pose and relief. Peace. And you're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And then it comes back, and that's okay. But then, as you keep doing your practice, sometimes that holds for longer. Those spaces between all the blah 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 in the head, sometimes that goes longer and longer in between, and that shows up in other
parts of life, right?
Definitely.
Like it can transition off the mat.
Yes, everything you do on the mat transitions off the mat, whether you want it to or not, whether you expected it to or not, is going to. That's another added hidden benefit. You go to your mat, you do this stuff, it affects you, whether you knew it was going to or not. It does. It stays with you. And you keep hearing the same things, and you keep going, and you feel better physically, and you start feeling differently emotionally. And maybe you feel more just aware of what your thoughts are, more aware of where you're holding your tension and your tightness. We all have stress, and we're holding it in the body someplace. And you can start to notice when you leave, well, what are those weird habits that I have? I'm walking around like this all day long. Well, that's uncomfortable. That's nasty. That's horrible. Or, it may not be this extreme, but it's like, it's there, this tightness in the shoulders. And they come in and they tell me how, oh, my neck and my shoulders hurt. Of course they do. You're like this all day. So just learning how to drop them down and open up the front of the chest. And that too, the way we live in our society, where we're typing or where we're driving, we're constantly rounding and dropping in and folding in, or we're texting and we're looking at the phone down here and we're hunching and we're being small. So yoga really helps you to realize you're doing this and open things back up and change where you are. And notice when you're doing it. And go, oh, wait, I'm doing that again. Even if it's just, once or twice a day that you realize, oh, I've got horrible posture, and you fix it. That's twice a day more than you did ever before. And then you keep doing that and keep doing that.
And it's just can be little shifts that over time
make a huge
difference. And
so your happiness, your well-being.
What you and I thought was, we know, I've witnessed that in my own practice, and then also in working with people who've had yoga as part of the work that they do. And you obviously see people.
Yes.
And one of the things that I have seen in my work with couples is just not really having an opportunity to be present with each other. Right? They're just going, like, as particularly if they have kiddos or they have fur kids, or what are they called?
Fur babies.
Fur babies.
Yes.
I forgot the term. But yeah, fur babies. They're moving from thing to thing. It's very transactional. Right? And they're just trying to get everything done, and they've gone to work, and it's just go. And they're being present with each other, they just haven't had an opportunity to just individually breathe, but then together breathe. And so that's part of what inspired this workshop, right? Is taking what we have been scientifically documented, the benefits of yoga. There's so much research out there now. It's being used with veterans. It's being used in hospitals. It's being used on a much bigger scale. Corporations have yoga programs. I know Coors over here has a yoga program. And so, people are seeing the benefit. The research is there. We know that it's there. And so how cool is it for a couple to have a practice together?
Right. And that's another nice way to connect with your partner is to come to classes. And I do have couples that come together to practice. Some of them, it's all the time. They always come together. Sometimes it's, one or the other, and occasionally they come together when their schedules coincide, but it is nice. It's nice to have that moment to share with each other. And in a typical class, you're just going to be doing your own postures on your own mat. And you're both, doing the same thing, but separately. But in this workshop that we're creating, this couples workshop, and any couples workshop that you're going to go to for yoga, you're going to connect with each other physically and emotionally and really work together in a posture. So you're touching each other in different ways. Maybe it's back to back, just sitting and breathing and feeling your partner breathe behind you. Just finding that, a different connection. Maybe it's touching palms of the hands, just touching hands but with your partner, just some of that connection. So it's not just feeling. And Melissa's hands are very warm. She's got warm tea in her, so I can feel that. And so just connecting and noticing, what do you know from the other person by having a connection here? How much pressure is you putting on? Now I'm pushing her hand and she's pushing back or not. Are they pulling away? Just all kinds of things, subtle things that you can get without any verbal needed. But then there's also opportunity for verbal, and that's where Melissa's going to come in and help. I'll be helping people into poses, into placement, and she's going to really help them dig a little deeper and experience.
How that enhances the relationship. So it's really about communicating what is happening. People will be connecting it within their body, but then also linking it to what that means in terms of the relationship and how it enhances the relationship. So it's really taking the beauty of yoga and the connection and the power of the physical and linking it with what we know works to deepen relationship and connection and intimacy.
How
so it's
amazing.
Like such a cool combination
that is
of
amazing.
what we both do and playing to our strengths and also how well those complement one another, right?
Definitely.
So it's about connecting with the body, connecting with your partner, and being able to say, another thing that comes up in the work, and you probably see this just with individuals on the mat, is people not really knowing what they want and need.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes.
So then they're not even sure how to ask that of their partner because they're not even sure what they want or need. And getting into your body and being like, like this feels good, this doesn't feel good. I need to pull back. There's resistance, like we were just doing, right? That's part of what we also intend to have as our workshop is helping couples have that conversation, creating a platform to be able to be like, that feels good, that doesn't feel good, or could you have less pressure there, or can we shift and really tuning in. It requires tuning in with your own body so that you can then communicate with your partner.
Right, and that's lovely. And what you say about we don't even know what we need ourselves sometimes. Yes, and that's one of the first things I generally do when I sit down to teach. I ask my students, what do you need? What do you need today? And sometimes students are really great about telling me exactly parts of their body that are tight or need more work, or a particular area of their life that they need to kind of focus or work on. Work through an emotion that they're having. But a lot of times, especially when students are new, sometimes they're like, I don't know, whatever, I don't know. And that's okay. And I don't expect them all because they aren't. They're not as in tune and they're not really sure. And they're also not necessarily like brave enough to speak out and say something too. So the more you connect with yourself and know and feel, now I can start to answer that question, what do I need, for yourself and others. And even in poses a lot of times, I tell people, do what feels good for you, what feels right for you. So that means you need to be figuring out, how does this even feel? I can't feel what they're feeling. Only you in your own body can feel your feelings. And in a relationship, you have yourself, you have the other person, and you need to feel what you're feeling, and you need to somehow share that.
And communicate it in some way. Because
some way or another.
In general, most folks I know can't read other people's minds.
No, most of us cannot.
We just haven't
not there.
garnered that. Yeah, and so and even if you have a sense, it's just so helpful to be able to have a platform to clarify, right? Like, I have a sense this could feel good to my partner, but I'm not sure. It's great to check it out. That way, there's confidence on both ends, right? Like, that you can approach your partner with confidence and that there's this space that you've now created to hear each other out and be able to express what you need and hold that, and then also hear what your partner has to, is asking for, and then negotiating that.
Yes.
And that's a dance.
It is. And it can be a beautiful dance, or it can be a really sloppy, messy, stepping on each other's feet dance. And that's okay. And sometimes it's both.
Exactly.
Until you figure it out.
And yoga allows for all that.
It does. It does. Yep. Sometimes it can be beautiful. Sometimes it could be kind of sloppy and funny and we laugh, But so if you're thinking about coming to the workshop, if you need questions answered, you can put them onto this. You can post them right here on the bottom of the screen. You can reach out, to myself or to Melissa. If you have more of the relationship type questions, check in with Melissa. If you have more of the physical body yoga questions, check in with me. And that's fine. And I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. If you want to have a verbal conversation about, I don't know if my partner can do this, check in with me and I'm happy to talk to you and walk you through it. But we're not going to be doing anything really physically challenging, but just connecting with ourselves, connecting with others. I'm happy to modify poses as we need to. So if you have an area of concern and injury or something, you can let me know ahead of time or that day, and we'll work around it. We'll work with you.
Yeah, we're really about it being a space, again, to connect with your partner, connect with yourself, and for it to be fun.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be all serious, right?
No.
Like this is one
it
of my favorite
yes.
sayings that a yoga teacher would tell me or say to the class is something about your eyebrows aren't going to make you hold the pose
right by furrowing out
by
doing
this it's once we relax and are into it, we actually have a better chance of holding having balance.
Yes.
And there's a lot of, like when I think of there's a lot of humor that can come out of and connection and fun, and it can be playful.
It should be lighthearted and playful and fun, yes. And sometimes, I'll make students smile. And I'll sit there and make them hold the pose. I'm like, no, really, actually take the corners of your mouth and pull them up, smile, because this is just yoga. It's not that serious. It shouldn't be. It doesn't have to be. It's just yoga. You do it or you don't. It doesn't matter. Just do what you can.
Do what you can. Exactly. So we will have information about our workshop, which is in less than 2 weeks, on February 16th from 4 to 6. It's on a Saturday at the Golden Yoga Sanctuary.
Yes.
And we can make modifications. One thing I want to point out is on the 3rd story of the building, and there isn't elevator access. So we just want to speak to that.
Yep.
And we really want to be inclusive of whatever abilities people are bringing, because the whole intention is connecting with the partner.
Connecting.
And the community.
Yep. Being more present with yourself so you can be more present in your relationship. Yes, definitely. And just enjoying time together as a couple, taking time out, setting it aside for the two of you as a couple, a different type of date, a different type of way to spend time with one another and really strengthen your relationship. Even if it's already strong, just find new ways to connect. And you might find a favorite activity that you like to do. You might find you like one of the poses so much that you want to add it into your regular routine.
Exactly, yes. I know with my partner and I, we stretch a lot and we do yoga together, and there's just something really cool about sharing that space and grounding and chilling out.
Yeah.
Or starting the day that way.
That's lovely. That's a beautiful way to start every day. Yes.
And just get present and get into your breath, and it sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Definitely.
Well, great. Thanks, Jenny, for joining. And we'll include that information in the comments. And please reach out to either of us if you have questions. And I think this is also, it's a Facebook event, so it's
out there. Yes.
But I'll include the link as well.
Perfect. Perfect. And do pre-register, because there is only so much space in the studio. It's not a really huge studio, so I can only take so many couples. So if you're interested in coming and you're not sure, reach out, get your questions answered, and then sign up ahead of time so we hold a space for you and you don't miss out.
Yes, because we're already filling spots. So we'd love to see you if you're able to join us. All right. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks.